I'm James C634, aka the Ginger Otaku. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am very excited today. We are talking about beast breathing from Demon Slayer. Now, this is one of the breathing styles I've been looking forward to talking about in this series for ages, and it's part of the reason I started this series. I wanted to talk about beast breathing and give you all the information that you don't know and show you how truly amazing beast breathing is and how spectacular Inosuke is, because he goes under the radar a lot for this particular creating a breathing style, because the only other person to do this is Yoruichi. Now let me explain before someone gets mad. What about all the derivatives? Those aren't... We're going to get into it. There's a lot to talk about, basically. So we're going to start off with the origins of beast breathing and how this is different to the origins of all the other breathing styles. So, the origins of all the breathing styles, there are 14 in total, including Sun, and Beast and Moon and everything. 14 in total. The very first one was sun breathing, which was created by Yoruichi. And the core 5, which are water, thunder, stone, wind, and flame breathing, all derive from sun. And they were all created when Yoruichi joined the Demon Slayer Corps. He tried to teach his fellow corps members sun breathing, but they lacked the natural talent that he did, so they focused on each one's individual strengths and weaknesses, creating their own breathing styles with the help of Yoruichi. So they had help when they even created these breathing styles. And that's how a lot of the branch offs from these that we see today with our current Hashiras, like sound breathing, love breathing. Love breathing is a great example of this. In fact, Mitsuri, the love Hashira, actually learned flame breathing, but it didn't suit her body type because her muscles are 8 times denser than normal, which means that she's not really good with rigid movement because her muscles are more compact and they need to be more fluid movements for her. So in flame breathing, it's quite kendo. It's based off kendo strikes, which are very, once again, rigid and stiff movements, not suited for her particularly. So she adapted into love breathing, which is very flexible and fluid sword strikes and movement. That's a perfect example of a branch off and how one comes from the other. Another one is insect breathing, where she tried to learn flower breathing from her sister. With the insect Hashira, Shinobu tried to learn flower breathing from her sister, who knew flower breathing and was the current Hashira, but Shinobu lacked the strength to actually wield the full blade and cut a demon's head off, so she started using poisons and everything else and created her own breathing style. That's why it's a branch off, because she actually tried to learn it. She knew the moves, but she wasn't able to emulate them. Or she copied them and she couldn't do them properly. Whereas beast breathing, how beast breathing came about is literally Inosuke was in the woods, minding his own business, living his life with his wolf and boar friends, literally just being raised by him. And this guy came across from the Demon Slayer Corps. He had wind breathing. He was doing his own thing. He came across Inosuke. With the boar head on Inosuke's head, he thought Inosuke was a demon, tried to attack him, failed absolutely miserably. It is hilarious. Inosuke beat him up and took his sword. This guy is supposed to be a trained swordsman, which is hilarious to me. So yeah, he lost his sword. Inosuke, after seeing one form of breathing style, or of wind breathing, created his own breathing style completely, and that's where beast breathing came from. That he literally figured out breathing forms were a thing, and then just did it without being shown anything else or even knowing how they worked. He literally self-taught and created them himself, which is why I say that beast breathing is Inosuke and Yoruichi are the only 2 people to actually fully create a breathing style, because everyone else had help from learning a previous one from a master and then changing it slightly, or literally having help creating the breathing style from Yoruichi himself, which is like hacks, you know. And with beast breathing, it is I think it is fair to say that beast breathing can only be used by Inosuke, and will probably only ever be able to be used by Inosuke, because Inosuke has a naturally enhanced eyesight senses, you know, his eyesight, his hearing, his sense of smell, from being raised in the wild with wolves and with boars. He has a naturally increased senses for everything across the board, and this is a very vital part of his breathing styles, and that's how they work. And without having this, you won't be able to use the breathing style, and this isn't something you can physically learn. Like with wind breathing, it can be a lot of training, or with water breathing. You just need to train and have a repetitive pattern in order to learn the breathing styles, and eventually you can physically train up. This isn't something for beast breathing, it's not something you can physically train to be able to do. And that's why I think that Inosuke might be, in the entire history of the Demon Slayer Corps, the only person who will ever actually be able to use this. Even if Yoruichi was there and he could learn all of the breathing forms, I don't think he could learn beast breathing. Is that a wild statement? Yes. Is it a correct statement? That's questionable for Yoruichi, but for everyone else, yeah, no one else could learn it. Beast breathing is meant to emulate wild animals, specifically their attacks and their shredding of flesh. That's why his swords are specially designed with those notches, so that they emulate the animal's teeth ripping into flesh. That's it. It's good for cutting and ripping through flesh. That's why he has specialized swords. And it is also thought that because the only time we see beast breathing being done is with those dual swords, that you need two swords. And my one question to you guys in the comments is, let me know, because of the fact that beast breathing is a branch off from wind breathing, just because that's what the user saw, just because that's what Inosuke saw, if he had seen sun breathing first and tried to copy that, would beast breathing be a core 6 instead of a core 5? Let me know what your thoughts are let me know what your thoughts are on this, because I think it would be. Now, we've kind of talked about beast breathing, we've talked about what it is, how it works. It's meant to copy animals. Let's get straight into talking about they're not forms, they're fangs. So just like with insect breathing, the way they have dances instead of forms, beast breathing has fangs instead of forms. I think it's a nice play on words, plus giving it such a reformed word to explain it as forms, the breathing style as forms instead of fangs, because it's beast breathing. Fang suits it way better because it's less refined, just like the breathing style itself, which I think is really cool. So let's jump straight into it. It has 11 forms in total. Well, originally it had 10, but then Inosuke created an 11th one during a fight. Once again, amazing. So let's jump straight into it. These are fairly straightforward for most of them, with their names or actually what happens. Now, we have seen forms 1 through 8 in the anime so far, so I'll explain it, then I'll pop up the clip from the anime, and then for 9, 10, and 11, I will just have to explain it and give you the pictures like I've done for the rest of them. But let's jump straight into it with the first fang, which is Pierce, which is a double stab forward. Here's the clip. Okay, on to form number 2, which is Slice, and this is a double slash, which basically forms an X. Now we're on to form number 3, which is Devour, which is a double horizontal slash. On to form number 4, which is Slice and Dice, which is a double diagonal slash while holding the blades upside down. So his grip on them is changed to where his grip would be upside down. Hopefully that makes sense, but here's the clip. So to the 5th form, which is Crazy Cutting, which is multiple crazy cuts in kind of every direction, and this is just to slash multiple targets or multiple enemies. We see this during the Mugen Train arc. Here's the clip. Form number 6. So form number 6 is Palisade Bite. It's P-A-L-I-S-A-D-E, and then obviously bite is bite. But this is a pincer attack where Inosuke is attacking from both sides. It's just a pincer attack, and then it's explained what a pincer attack is. That's how the form, the explanation of the form is. So, this is actually in combination. The clip of this that we have is from the Entertainment District arc, and it's combined with clip number 8, or with form number 8. So I'll put them both up together. So I'm going to explain 8 right now before I show you the clip. Number 8 is Explosive Rush, which is just a dash forward while swinging your swords. Here's the clip for number 6 and number 8. Number 8 is first, and then we see number 6. He doesn't actually announce number 6, but here you go. We are on to form number 7, which I actually think is the most broken form for beast breathing. It is spatial awareness. And what spatial awareness is when we see him during the Spider Forest stick both swords into the ground and put his arms out, and what he is doing is detecting any weird patterns in the wind, because this will basically show him where an object is. And we actually don't know if there is a range on this or not, but we do know that it managed to cover the entire Spider Forest and give him the location of every demon, human, and everything else on the forest, which is an absolutely incredible and once again absolutely overpowered ability. Okay, now we are on to form number 9, which is Extendi Bending Slash, which is where Inosuke dislocates one of his arms and he slashes at the enemy with his dislocated arm, because as we know from Season 2, the Entertainment District arc, Inosuke can move his organs around and he can also dislocate his arm and still use it. And the whole idea is to throw your target off and get a further reach on them, because if they're slightly out of range, they won't be expecting you to be able to hit them. You dislocate your arm, now you got the extra reach and you've disorientated them by being able to hit them at such a longer range. Now we're on to form number 10, which is Whirling Fang, and this is where Inosuke spins both his swords in a really rapid motion. We see him do this later on in the anime. Well, we will see him do this later on in the anime, and this is basically to kind of disperse a mist. That's how fast he is spinning, that they're able to push the mist away. Now we're on to the final form, which is form number 11, which is the form he created on the fly, which is Sudden Throwing Strike, and this is where Inosuke throws both his swords. I wish it was more complicated, but like I said, some of these are very straightforward, but this is literally where he throws his swords at his target, or at his enemy. Yeah, that was it. That is all 11 forms of beast breathing. Hopefully you've learned something about beast breathing. Once again, let me know what you think about whether beast breathing would be a derivative of sun breathing if Inosuke had seen sun breathing instead of wind breathing. Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, let me know that too. Leave a like, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see next. The next breathing style I will be doing, which will be Friday, is flame breathing. We only have 4 breathing styles left. We have flame, love, moon, and sun breathing. So stay tuned for those. And let me know what series you want to see next. I think I'm going to be covering the Kizuki, but let me know if you want to see something else. The upper moons. I'll do I won't do the lower moons because we don't even see them in the anime. So I will do the 7 upper moons. Ooh, I shouldn't have said that. It's okay, I'll leave it in. At this point, if you're still watching, you're a true fan. Thank you, by the way. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. See you on Friday.